just for today, yeah? I will grab just for today. Okay, but first of all, I need you to introduce, okay? So starting from the bottom, would you please tell me your name? Yes, please tell me your name, your country of residence, and your native tongue, okay, or your mother tongue. Be quiet, please, because I need to understand who you are, okay? Okay. And which kind of studies have you performed before? Okay, sounds great. And what about you? Which kind of studies have you performed? Humanistic, okay, sounds great. And you? Okay, you? But I'm going, sorry. Okay, you're fluent, okay. And what kind of studies have you performed in Serbia? Okay, and your name once again, please? Okay, thank you. Nice to meet you. And what about you? Luisa? Okay. And then so going to the other row right now. Alessia? Which kind of studies have you performed? So, no, I didn't catch. Scientific, okay. What? So please, the other one. Sophia. Okay. Then? Okay, great. What about you? Priscilla? Okay. Languages? Okay. And you? Angela? Okay. And that's it. Okay, nice to meet you. What about you? Yes. And that's it. Okay. And which language do you speak? Of course, Arabic, French, and English. Sorry. Arabic, French, English, and Italian also. Okay. I think we have another student backwards. So you didn't introduce? Oh, no, you all introduced. Okay. Okay. Sorry. I do apologize. Okay. Also about you. Would you please introduce and tell me from which country do you come? Because I need to understand who you are. Okay. So please, just people who have just seated right now. Would you please tell me your name? Siri? Okay. Which kind of studies have you performed before? Classics. Okay. What about you on the left? No, I didn't catch the name, sorry. Alice, okay. Linguistic, okay. What about you? Okay, and you? Okay, so let's go right now on after Fatima is your name, okay. What about you? Okay. And you studied languages, okay. What about you? Okay, and you? Great. What? Okay, okay, and going on? Technical subjects, okay. And what about you? Mm. And what's your name? Sorry, I do apologize. Marsh, okay. And you come from Lebanon. Okay, Lebanon. Okay, great. And what about you? From Afghanistan. And sorry, about our Lebanon student, you speak, of course, French, Arabic, and English. Since I know that in Lebanon it's very widespread French, of course, but it's not your case. Okay, don't worry. No. Here the official language is English, therefore you don't have to worry. Okay. And you are from Afghanistan? What's your name? And do you speak only? Sorry, I do apologize. I call it Afghan. What's the name of the language? Sorry, I do. We call it something like Parsi, Persian, something like that. Okay, and you speak also English. Okay, great. And which kind of studies have you performed before? Last year. Okay. Okay, now let's go backwards once again. Just the people who have entered right now can please introduce to us their name and their country of residence to understand from where do they come. They come, sorry. Oh. Turkey, what's your name, please? Atesh, okay. Which kind of studies have you performed before? Of studies have you performed before? The high school in general. Okay, okay. What about you? So, sorry, your name is? Federico, okay. And which kind of studies have you performed before? Okay. Okay, once again, going backwards, the people who didn't introduce until now, just please, because I need to understand your native language and so on. So, okay. And after? Yes, but I would like also, okay, great, Marianna, thank you. I would also like to go backwards to the people who have just entered. Would they please introduce to us? Because I have watched people entering right now, okay. Okay, great. So you speak English and okay, great. What about you? I think you didn't introduce between our Iranian and our Turkish colleague. I think we. You have already introduced. I do apologize, sorry. So everyone backwards did introduce. I think you both didn't introduce to us, okay. Armenian? Sorry? Greek and Armenian, great. Have you studied, what have you studied before? Nothing, just the high school in general. Okay, no, that's enough, don't worry. And what about you? What's your name, sorry? Okay, and what have you studied before the high school in general? Law? I can say, okay, great. Now, let's go forward. Okay, we have Marianna and then Vanessa. Okay. Okay, great. What about you? You too, Marianna? Arianna, sorry. Okay. Languages, okay. What about you? Chiara? Okay. What about you? Now, what's your name once again? Sorry. I didn't catch. Julia, sorry, but it's difficult, believe me, here to hear. Okay, you're Julia, and what have you? Sì, Julia. Gioia. No, it's believe me, it's very difficult to hear. From here, okay. Gioia, and what have you studied before? Linguistic, okay. You? Okay, great. And you? Architecture, okay. But you have already a degree in architecture? No. At the high school, okay, great. What about you? I must say, sorry, I cannot say. Languages, okay. And what about you? I think Marianne, right now we have you. Have you? Okay, see. Classics, and you? Classics too. Great. What? Languages, okay. Okay. Okay, great. What about you? Aurora? Hmm? Okay, great. What about you? Simone? Logistics? Okay, great. What about you? From where do you come, Stephanie? Cyprus, okay. Languages in Cyprus, okay. What about you? Okay. And you? Okay, great. Languages, okay. Great. You two languages. And you? What did you study before, sir? Classics, okay. Okay. What about you? What's your name, sorry? Ramona? Ramona, okay, great. See. Classics, okay. What about you? Classics too, okay. And you? What's Vunce? Spells correct? Vunce? Okay, sorry, I do apologize. Turkey, okay, great. From which city of Turkey? No, I didn't. But it's in the south of the Istanbul, the capital. Sorry, I do apologize. From Istanbul, okay. And what did you study before? What have you studied before? What have you studied before? High school in general subject? Okay. You attended the Italian school, therefore in Istanbul? Great. Okay. What's your name? Sorry. Then you took for Turkey. Izmir. It's a very important city in the south, to the sea. Great. Great. What about the technical? Okay. Scientific. Okay. Okay. And you? Alice. Classics. Okay. Great. Okay. Study classics. Sorry, I didn't. I sent. Okay. And you? The high school. Which kind of high school, Julia? Scientific. Okay. And you? Languages. Okay. And your name once again? Kritika? Okay, great. I haven't heard it before. So and which kind of subject have you studied before? Languages. Okay, great. And you? Great. And where do you come from? Sorry. Where do you come from? From Italy. Okay. And you? Okay, great. And you? Turkish. And your name once again? Okay, sorry. The high school, okay, in general. Okay. And you? Sí, puedes bien hablar español conmigo, pero bueno, aquí solo inglés está permitido, claro. Sí, bueno, no entiendo. No sé si sería mejor para mí el español o el inglés, pero solo he aprendido español desde el año pasado. Sí, no, claro, aquí solo inglés está permitido. Bueno. Bueno. The other side. Okay, please come. Okay, let's go. You introduce from Peru, okay, and you? So, once again. Teca. Greta. What have you studied? In England. Ah, okay. Okay, great. And what about scientific? Lucrezia. Okay, great. And you? Okay, great. Human science, okay. And you? Okay, great. Economics, okay. Okay, you? Okay, great. And is your mother from England or your father? Your father is from England, okay. What about you? Okay, great. And you? Bien, olvidamos el español. Bueno, bueno. And you? I'm Moroccan. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, great. And you? Scientific, okay. You? What's your name? Sorry. Candera? Albania. Okay, in Albania. Okay, great. And you? Elisa? Okay. You, okay. Great. You? Great. And you? Great. Now the first row. Okay. Languages, okay. And you? Okay, business. And you? Okay. Alessia? Okay. And you? Gilda? Language. And we miss right now our last companion who has just joined us. Would you please introduce? Yes. Your name is? Okay. Where do you come from? Okay. Okay. And we have also people, Miss Nikor and other people. Would they please introduce? So Miss Nikor, would you please introduce to us? Yes.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Yes. Okay, so my name is Andrea Nikor. I am currently a resident here in Italy, but I'm originally from the Philippines.
Okay. And which kind of studies have you performed before?
Economics, business and economics.
Economics, okay. And Andiela, I guess it's a female name. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Miss Plakovic, yes, would you please
I'm
introduce
Angela and I live in Italy. and I studied languages.
Languages, okay. And Miss Romeo, would you please introduce to us? No. Okay, so Mr. Vietti, would you please introduce to us?
Hi, Professor. I'm from Italy as well, and I've studied economy.
Okay, great. Okay, so as far as let's see. Maybe I'm afraid their microphone is not working. Okay, but she can hear, right? But she can hear us, right? So we don't know. Okay, let's hope, cross finger. But in any case, this lesson will be grabbed, the only one which will be grabbed. Therefore, okay, right, she's reconnecting right now. Okay, no problem. So everyone is introduced. Nobody's missing. Sure. Okay. Therefore, okay. Will just repeat for people who entered after. Okay. I just beg you, please, to stop the lesson at 7:20, 7:25 at the latest, since I must catch the bus to go to Porta Susa station, where I must catch the train at 8 p.m. to Milan. Otherwise, it will be really too late for me. Therefore, I hope we can start each lesson at 5:50, okay, 5:50 p.m. I guess you have a lesson before, but as far as I didn't, no lesson. So the earlier we begin, the better is for you, of course, okay, also for me. The problem is that I have a lesson before at 4 p.m. in, let's say at the main building, but we can start with no problem at 5:50. Let's hope that the colleague before who is having classes will cooperate and will let us begin 10 minutes earlier. Okay. As far as I did understand, let's say 60-70% of you comes from Italy, and the other 30% from abroad, respect of Italy, of course. And I guess like one or two people are English native speaker, as I did understand. So for those who are English native speaker, I beg you to apologize with me, of course, if I will make some mistakes in English. Of course, it's not my native tongue. I speak it, let's say, pretty well. Otherwise, they wouldn't have me allowed to have classes in English. I got a C1 in an IELTS like 6 years ago. But of course, you understand, to deliver a technical speech about law, it's not easy. Therefore, for the one who are English native speaker, please, I do apologize. And they can, of course, also correct me if I make mistakes. So also for the one who are not native English speaker, it might be that they speak English better than me. But of course, we'll try to do it, don't worry. Okay, let's start with our course about the principle of Roman law. Just to give you some preliminary notions about the subject and about, let's say, also the exam, some information that can help you. Okay, the exam will be structured into parts. A preliminary part that will be made of 30 questions. 30 questions with, let's say, you can tick. Okay, you have 3 options, and just one is correct. You have to tick it, of course, the correct one. Not 30, 20. I do apologize. I do apologize. I was confusing with the other course. Sorry, I do apologize. 20 questions, 3 answers, just one is correct. You are admitted to the exam, to the oral exams. You are admitted to the oral exams when you answer correctly to 12 questions, okay? 12 out of 20, okay? And you will be admitted to the oral exam, which will consist of 3 questions. And as you know, in Italy, in the university in Italy, we have the votes goes in 30, so the maximum is 30 cum laude, the minimum is 18, okay? And you are not forced to get a 30. You can also get an 18, but if you get a 30 cum laude, I will be happier, of course, and you also will be happy. Okay, those are the main information about the exams. As I have written in the syllabus and also in the course program, our textbook will be Borkowski, and of course the Borkowski textbook on Roman law. I have underlined the parts of the textbook that you can skip. Should you have any questions about it, feel free to inquire, no problems at all, of course. In the syllabus, I will put the relevant material. Okay, just the lesson of today, but just for today. I think I will submit some material that can help to understand. I will also submit like 35 pages on the law of procedure. Of course, we have also Borkowski about it, but I would like to integrate Borkowski on that subject. So don't worry, I will deliver. The law of actions is the last one that we will take into account. So don't worry, I will submit it whilst we are explaining the law of actions. As you have seen in the, let's say in the syllabus, it's not proper the syllabus, but let's call it in that way. We will not take into account the law of inheritance and also the heritage of the Roman law. It's not a relevant part of our course. We will take into account, therefore, sources of Roman law, parts of Roman law that I would like to explain, okay, today and tomorrow, I'm afraid also next week. The law of person, because it's basic, we cannot understand Roman law without explaining the law of person, which was pretty peculiar in Roman law, we will see. And therefore the law of property and the law of obligations, and we will finish with the law of actions, okay? And I really beg you to interrupt me if I'm not clear during my explanation. Don't worry, you don't need to raise your hand, just interrupt me, no problem at all. And you feel free to ask me to explain once again, okay? Just remember that you are right now people who have all the rights to understand in the better way. And it's my duty to explain in the better way, okay? Or in the best way for you to understand. Okay, so I'm considering also to let's say, to extend our course to 40 hours, like I need 2 lessons more, because this will help, would help and will help to finish our program, okay? So we will probably take 2 lessons more. I will notify you, will give you notice in time, of course, about it, don't worry. Let's see, I'm considering to put one November the 2nd and maybe the other one November the 30th. I will tell you in time, don't worry about it. Any questions? Also at home, from home, any questions about it? Yes. Your name once again? Alessia, yes, Alessia. Hmm? No, no, I think I will tell you about the end of October, something like that. Just so be patient for about 1 month, okay? Because offices didn't ask us to tell them about the dates, yes. Just I can tell you that it will be everything in the same day. So we will take like something like midday, 15 minutes before midday, the preliminary test, and about at 3 p.m. the oral exam. So we can make everything in just in 1 day. All the same day. This will help me and will help you, of course, okay? But about, yes. And your name once again? Susan, okay. Just that one, because I think people from home can attend lesson for these 2 weeks, these first 2 weeks, about, okay, what's your name? Okay. Okay, I was telling you, yes, I want to reply. I think I will not grab lessons. I think for the first week, you can attend the lesson at home. My goal would be to attend each lesson here. Let's say in presence, I know that it's not correct English, let's say live. But I would also like to hear from the president of the course, from the dean of the course, let's say, his orientation about it, whether it's free to attend classes from home or not. I definitely prefer the attendance here. But for the first week, since your colleague, Ms. Nikor, it's not here, I will have classes, let's say, also via WebEx, but to grab just for today. Okay, it's about Alessia. Okay, you're welcome. No, don't worry, feel free to ask any questions, don't worry. No, the exam, the preliminary one, you mean, because the other part will be oral. No, the proper exam will be oral, normally 3 questions. The part in 20 questions with 3 answers, just one is correct. It will be, of course, I will give you a paper and you will tick. I think this is the correct verb. The correct one, yes. Okay, it's Borkowski with W, K and W, and Y. Borkowski, Saxon genitive, Borkowski, textbook on Roman law. And the editor is Paul Duplessis. He's a senior lecturer in Edinburgh. You know that in Scotland, they study Roman law. I will explain you why, I hope. No, don't worry. Any other question? Okay, also from home, if you want from home, okay. It's not available. Okay, thanks. I will check with offices because I thought it was already available. I will check and I will make it available. Thank you very much. As far as tomorrow. Okay. Yes. And you? Okay. It will be divided into parts. A preliminary one, because it is only meant to access to the oral exam. Okay, it is only meant for that. Will be structured in 20 questions with 3 answers, and you have to tick the correct one. Just one will be correct. Okay, no votes about you get no grade. You get no grade about it. Just you will be admitted or not. If 12 are correct, you are admitted. Okay, you have to come the next time. Okay. The final part is oral. Normally 2 or 3 questions, no more than 3 questions. And of course, to my discretion, of course, the grade. About the preliminary one. I haven't taken into consideration, into account. I think I will give you a paper. And you will have to tick on the paper. That's what I'm considering right now. Okay? Yes, and in the same day. Yes, in the same day. Yeah. Yes, my one will be all when we have finished the course, okay? And it will be in the same day. So at the end of the morning, the preliminary part, and like at 3 p.m., the oral exam, okay? But yes, I think that offices, let's say, prepare everything in order that it will be everything clear to you. Don't worry. They know, because they ask us how the exam is structured. Therefore, I will tell them that we have a preliminary test and then the oral part. Therefore, they know how to do. Don't worry. They have the know-how, so they know how to do it. Don't worry. No, just the final one, because the preliminary just meant to give you access to admit to the, yes, and you will be admitted if you make correct 12 out of 20, or more, of course, out of 20. Okay, and your name, sorry? Emma, okay. No, once again, Emma, sorry, it's No, because it's, if I did understand correctly your question, the preliminary part is just meant to admit you to the proper exam. Let's say the proper exam. Therefore, whether you get 12 or you get 20, it's not. Of course, it's clear that if you get 20, you have more chances to get a high grade in the oral part. This is consequent, you understand. But it's not, it doesn't go by itself. Can you understand what I mean? Okay. Oh, sorry. Everything clear? Okay. Yes, it's at the same day. Yes, will be probably like midday, sorry. 15 minutes before midday, something like that, and then the oral part like at 3 p.m. during the afternoon. Okay, any questions more? Yeah, your name, sorry? Georgia? The preliminary part, okay. No, as much as you want, don't worry. So you can come next time, don't worry. Yes, in the same day. No, there's no limit. Don't worry. No, there's no limit. Don't worry. We have like 9 exams during the year. Therefore, don't worry. No. Any kind of art. No kind of hurdles. Don't worry. Okay. Any questions more? Also from home? Okay. Yes. Yes. Yes, I know, but I changed the program. I know that in the past it was like that, my previous colleague, but I preferred having changed the program on this issue. Okay, so therefore, yes. Okay. Any questions more? Otherwise, also from home. Otherwise, like we have, let's say 40, 45 minutes, we can introduce right now the topic of the principle of Roman law. Okay, first of all, why why are we studying the principle of Roman law? Okay, because the foundations of the European laws, especially in the continent, are made out of Roman principles. What happened in the past, let's say in the previous 800 years, something like that in Europe, starting from Italy, starting from Bologna, this city like 20 kilometers southeast of Turin. They studied the sources of Roman law. And they studied the sources of Roman law, first of all, to apply them in their society. So with a practical need, first of all. But also, and I would dare to say, chiefly, during the stretching of time, chiefly to build principle of law, the main concepts of law and European laws. Okay, right now, of course, you can ask me, how did that happen? I will try to explain. I have just introduced you to the concept of sources of Roman law that you can find also on your textbook. So we must start from the end. And at the end of Roman society, we have an emperor, we meet an emperor whose name was Justinian. He reigned like since 527 to 565. So therefore like 38 years. And this was a very important emperor in the city. He reigned in the city, which right now is called Istanbul. At his time, it was called Constantinopolis. And his aim was to rebuild, to restore the Roman civilization. That was his chief aim. Roman civilization, to restore Roman civilization. And we can see, we can find that goal, I would dare to say, in three areas. The area of law, the military area, therefore the power in itself, and also, let's say, in the architecture of Constantinople, right now Istanbul. Okay, let's start from the two aspects with which we are not really concerned. So, the architectural and the military one. Right now, we will devote to the law, okay? About architecture, he built many buildings in Constantinople. Just to mention one, the greatest, the hugest church in the world, Santa Sofia, which right now is a mosque since 1453, when it was conquered by the people right now that are Turkish. But before it was a Christian church, and actually is the hugest Christian church, also hugest than St. Peter in Rome. Just to tell you right now is an example of the feeling, let's say, of Justinian, okay? This is the architectural aspect. About the military aspect, the Roman Empire, like 50 years before, did lost all the Western territories of the empire. Therefore, Italy, Spain, France. Let's say, we can say that the part which right now belongs to Serbia, we have Serbian colleagues, still belongs to the Roman Empire, belonged to the Roman Empire, and actually Justinian come from that part. His native language actually was Latin, not Greek. But let's say all the western part of Europe, let's say it was lost like 50 years ago. And about that topic, Justinian tried to regain that part of the empire to the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire who was seated, let's say, in the eastern part, okay, like Turkey, Greece, let's say Serbia, and so on. And right now we have also a colleague from Lebanon, and this part was the Roman Empire at the moment. So he succeeded in regaining Italy, but actually this victory didn't last too much, because when Justinian died, all the center and north part of Italy was once again lost by the Roman Empire. And it was acquired by these Longobards people who actually came from Hungary, let's say, who conquered all the North Italy, and also part of center South Italy, Salerno, and so on. And they seated their chief city, let's say, was in Pavia, okay, the reign of Italy. So it didn't last too much, okay, but you can recognize the goals of Justinian also to conquer once again the western part of empire. Spain and France, he was not successful in reconquesting them, okay, but Italy, yes, but just for a short time. In the south of Italy, the Byzantine Empire did last for more time, about 500 longer, like 500 years more, okay? So that's about the architectural and the military aspect. Right now, let's consider the one more important for us, the aspect of law. Okay, because of course you can ask me why he wanted also to restore Roman civilization in law aspects. Simply because, as far as we know, in Europe, but we don't have any further knowledge about it, the Roman has this tradition, that tradition about jurisprudence, the theory of law, the concept of law, writing and thinking about law. There were a specific class of people that we name jurists who studied the law. And as far as we know, that happened only, we can say, in Israel, or in the Hebrew people, about the Torah, and you know, maybe you have heard about the Talmud. It was this, we can say, scientific study of the Hebrew law. And therefore, something similar to the study of Roman law made by the Roman jurist was only made in the Hebrew tradition. The study of the Torah, you know, the Torah, which is a part of the Bible, okay? And all this study of the Bible tradition was summed up, we can say, in these two books, the Talmud and the Mishnah, is something similar to Roman law. Just for a curiosity, you should think that we have also a textbook of that period, about, let's say, 350, something like that, 300, but more or less this is the period, who made a comparison about Hebrew law between, Hebrew law and Roman law. Okay, we have we have a manuscript of it in Vienna, the capital of Austria, which is pretty interesting. It's a comparison between the Hebrew law and the Roman law. Okay, it's called Lex Dei, but it's not very important. You don't have to remind it, don't worry. Or Lex Dei o Collatio Romanorum et Mosaicorum Legum. But don't worry, you don't have to remind the name. It's not important. So just to tell you that this is something particular. It had never happened in Greece. And as far as we know, we don't know any other civilization in America or in Far East who devoted, when there were a class of people who devoted themselves to the study of law. Okay, this is something particular. Okay, if that had, let's say, restraint to the past, that would not be important for us. But as I told you, these people in Bologna, like almost 950 years ago, began once again the study of law, studying on these Roman sources. And as I told you, that those Roman sources were the one collected by Justinian. So I come once again back to Justinian to check what he did about Roman law. Okay, I told you, we had this tradition. We had everything clear? Okay. We have this tradition about the Roman jurists. So first of all, you can understand that Justinian did not want to forget this tradition and to run the risk that that tradition would have been forgotten. Okay, it was too risky for him. He didn't want this. Okay. Yes, and that's why he's in the paradise. Yes, because and Dante, let's say, I will try to translate in English, say that he cast away from the law what was not necessary. Okay, and let's see why Dante Alighieri, this important, the most important Italian poet, wrote that one about Justinian in 1305, 1306, 7, more or less. Okay, we have this tradition about the Roman jurist. Besides it, we have also another tradition. The tradition that about laws issued by the Roman emperors. At the time of Justinian, only the laws made by issued by Roman emperors, okay? At the time of Justinian, let's say since 300 years, something like that, new laws were enacted just by the emperors. We didn't find anymore a tradition of Roman jurists. Let's say since 300 years at the time of Justinian. Therefore, we have the laws enacted by the emperors and the tradition of the jurist. Let's start from the simplest one, the law enacted by the Roman emperors. And then we will go to the Roman jurist. As I told you, the Roman emperors were enacted laws. We call it constitution, but you can also call it statute laws, no problem about it. In Latin, it's out constitutiones. It could be translated like constitution, but let's call them laws, okay? They were enacting laws since like 100 after Christ. That's how we count time in Europe, before and after Christ, of course, and we will use this way of counting years. Let's say like since 400 years, they were enacting laws, okay? And we had, before Justinian, we already meet 3 codes, let's say 3 digest, okay, like the digest of Justinian, 3 anthologies, okay, 3 summing up of the law. They were like anthologies of previous laws enacted by the emperors. I will tell you right now about it, don't worry. A first anthology was what we call Codex, the Code Gregorianus, Code of Gregorius, Code Gregorianus Code, okay? This was enacted, not officially, Actually, it seems to be a private anthology made around 293 after Christ, okay? And probably it did collect an anthology of constitution, of imperial laws, since Adrian. Adrian was an emperor, was emperor since 117 to 136 or 38, I guess 38, sorry, during these 20 years. And as far as we know, the most ancient constitution law was made, that we can find in this anthology, was enacted by Adrianus. So therefore, something like in 130, okay? This is the most ancient one that we can find. So you can imagine, since Adrian, 130 to 293, like 160 years. Okay, right now you can ask me, of course, we cannot understand. It was just a collection of these laws with no order at all. No, of course, there was an order. The order was not just chronological, but it was, we can say, systematical. In which way? Because each constitution, each group of constitution was collected referring to an argument, to a topic. Okay, to a topic. Imagine a contract, imagine tort, imagine law of property, imagine what we call usus fructus. I will explain you what it is. So therefore, we had a specific topic of law, and about that topic we can find an anthology of the relevant laws enacted by the emperors, starting since Hadrian to 293. Is that clear? Is that clear, more or less? Divided into topic. And about into topic, each topic, the laws followed a chronological order, since from the most ancient to the most recent one. Okay? But divided into topic. As far as we know, we are not pretty sure because we don't have a manuscript of this code, of this Gregorian code. But as far as we know, we can guess that this code was structured in 12 books. But of course, you should think that, what is the meaning of code in Latin? Code in Latin means a book, simply a book, let's say a book. You can imagine an ongoing book, a book that everyday life right now. It was the same. This is the meaning of code in Latin. It means actually book, like our books. Nothing less, nothing more. Okay? So you can imagine that in one book, we can find all the relevant constitution. But right now, I have just told you 12 books. Okay. 12 books doesn't mean 12 different books, okay? We can just say a unique volume, just one volume, but if you open this volume, you can find 12 books. Book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4. And each book are divided into titles. In each title stated the topic. The law of the property, the usus fructus, the tort, the contract. Can you understand? Can you understand? Therefore, don't make the mistake to think that 12 books are 12 books of ongoing days. No, just a unique book. I think I will submit in the Moodle a photography of the code so you can understand. Of these Justinian sources, I will of course, implement the Moodle in order that you can access. And I will submit a photograph in order that you can have a picture of it, that you can understand clearly or more clearly, okay? No, not necessary into titles. We don't have the manuscript of this Gregorian code, so we don't know each book, how many titles structures that book. Maybe it could be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we don't know. I will tell you the following codes, we know them, and we can see how many titles. Let's say that we don't have an exact knowledge about the Gregorian code, okay? So we leave it open, okay? So just I want to add that the Gregorian code was chiefly or solely, let's say, made up by private law and the law of procedure, the law of the private procedure, the civil trials. Nothing more than that, as far as we know. We did not find, and we cannot find administrative law, public law. As far as we know, it was not contained in the Gregorian code. The year after, the following year, 1294, it was enacted, probably not officially enacted. We can say an appendix, just it was like a following book, let's say, of the Gregorian code, which was called Hermogenianus Code. Hermogenianus with H, initial H. Hermogenianus Code. As far as we know, it was just a book and a book, no more than a book, so very short. We don't know whether it was divided in titles. No, we don't have an exact knowledge about it, about this Hermogenianus Code, but it was just meant to be like a following code, a short following code of the Gregorian one. That's very, very short, very short. Okay, so the Hermogenianus is not very important, okay? Which was more important was the Theodosian Code. The Theodosian Code was officially enacted in 438 by this emperor who was named Theodosius II, who reigned in Constantinople, and which was the aim, the goal, which was pursued by Theodosius. Okay, let's say that Theodosius would have liked to aim to a most ambitious goal. We keep it right now into blanket, this more ambitious or most ambitious goal, which Theodosius followed. Let's say what he actually did. What he actually did was to give official value to the Gregorian and Hermogenian code, okay, to the Gregorianus and Hermogenianus code. They were officially recognized. So we have with the Gregorian and Hermogenian one, we have the constitution since 130 to, let's say, 300, more or less, 294, let's say 300, okay, after Christ. So Theodosius did collect the laws enacted by the emperors, enacted since, let's say, 313, so let's say immediately after the Gregorian and Hermogenian. Okay, we skipped 20 years, but that's not very important. Let's forget it. Let's forget about those 20 years which are not covered by the code. So he collected the laws enacted since 313 to 437. Okay, so we have like 140, 40 years, 35 years, more or less. And this is a very huge collection. Why? Because this is a collection made up of 16 books, 16. We have these collections. We probably lost a significant part of the first 5 books, maybe like the half. We are not sure how much it was, but it was a relevant part of the first 5 books. But we have more or less completed all the other books. They have been transmitted by manuscripts, so we hold them right now. We can, and I will also submit it in the Moodle, a page of the Theodosian Code, in order that you can see. So you can imagine how it was made, this Theodosian Code, how it was structured, in the same way of the previous two. Therefore, we have 16 books, and all the books were divided into titles, and each title mentioned, quoted, the relevant topic: usufructus, law of property, the law of tort, the obligations, all the relevant topic that we will cover during our course. And of course, in each title, the constitution, the law enacted by the emperor, laws enacted by the emperor, follow a chronological order, from the most ancient to the most recent one. Okay? So you can imagine, maybe I would like to ask you if you have clear the structure of the Theodosian Code. Don't get confused. In the Theodosian Code, you cannot find the constitution contained in the Gregorian and Hermogenian one, okay? Because these two codes were officially recognized by Theodosius. So Theodosius was saying to the citizen, to the Roman citizen, and at that period, everyone living in the Roman Empire was Roman citizen since 212. Okay, the citizenship was granted to everyone living in the empire, with few exceptions not important. Okay, so he was saying to Roman citizen, all the relevant constitution before, let's say 300 after Christ, you can find them in these two codes. Therefore, let's read these books, you judge, you lawyer, you citizen, and you will find everything relevant there. Is it clear? Okay. So you cannot find in the Theodosian Code the constitution contained in the Gregorian and Hermogenian Code. Okay. They are apart, but they are officially recognized. In the Theodosian Code, you can find the constitution enacted since 313, let's say, okay? As I told you, divided into titles, 16 books, and with a chronological order. Therefore, we can say that all the constitution enacted since the beginning of the Roman Empire to 438, all the relevant ones, all the valid ones, were contained in the Codex Hermogenianum, in the Code Hermogenianum, in the Code Gregorianus, in the Code Hermogenianus, and into the Theodosian Code. Okay? In these three codes, you can find all the relevant constitution, all laws enacted by the emperor, which were not contained in these codes, were abrogated. Okay, were abolished. They were not anymore into force, into value. Okay, is that clear? So just since we are in the laws of emperor topics, right now we go to Justinian back. So Justinian has in front of him these three codes: the Gregorian, the Hermogenianus, and the Theodosian one. You can imagine, let's imagine which paths opened in front of Justinian's. Two paths. He could have the possibility to follow the policy of, let's say, of Theodosius. So he could have said, okay, let's recognize, keep into force the three codes, and I will enact another core, a newer one, who will contain all the relevant laws enacted since 439 to my reign. Remember, once again, 527 to 565. And when Justinian did order his code, he ordered it in 528. And he enacted it in 529. Okay? Therefore, he could have said, okay, I will just enact a new code containing new constitution about all the relevant topics, divided, structure of the last 90 years. And this was a possibility in front of him. He chose a more difficult, but also a cleverer one, because he decided to put all the relevant constitution in a unique code, just in one code. Of course, Justinian did not think to make all the work, to restart the world since the beginning, of course. About the constitution enacted until 438, 37, it's the same, it doesn't matter. He couldn't skip these 3 codes. So he thought, he gave this order to his commissioner, of course, so those practitioners of law who were in charge to enact and to compose this code. He told them, okay, let's choose from these 3 codes all the relevant constitution about each topic. Let's choose the newest one, the newer one, enacted in the last 90 years, and in a unique code, the citizenship will find all the relevant constitution divided into books, divided into topics. Did you understand? Have you understood? If it's not clear, please tell me that I will explain once again. Also from home, if it's not clear. Okay, tell me. Of course, don't worry. Of course, the lecture will be uploaded, and I will also, but only this one. And as I told you, I will also upload picture of these Justinian sources in order that you can understand better. Okay, but I want to understand, until now, did you catch what I have said? Not very much. Of course, I did understand, because of course a photograph will help you to understand better. Of course, I did understand. Don't worry, I will do it. Of course, I will do it. But once again, keep in mind those 2 paths. He could have followed the Theodosian policy to say, okay, let's keep those 3 codes, and in this new code, just the newest constitution of the last 90 years. Or to choose a more ambitious project, and say, okay, let's keep everything in just one code. And he chose this second path. Did you understand that? So to keep everything in one code, but of course, just use common sense, which is the best way in life to live. Of course, he couldn't skip all the previous tradition of the 3 codes. So, let's say, he bore all the relevant constitution of, let's say, since 130 to 437 from the 3 codes, okay? Of course, he also made some changes, because as I told you, we have the Theodosian code. I will upload, don't worry. And you can also see clearly, watch clearly this difference. Since we have both the Theodosian and the Justinian code, we can see that in many constitutions, remember constitution of the Theodosian code since 310, let's say 310, to 435, let's say. Justinian, we can also find this constitution. No? You remember that I told you this constitution, and also the more ancient one, to one century after, 2nd century and 3rd century after Christ. But we can make a confrontation, and I will upload, of course, don't worry, of the constitution kept in the Theodosian code and the one contained in the Justinian code. Imagine, no? The one since 310 to 435, 90% we can find them in the 2 codes. And we can see that sometimes they are the same, exactly the same. Same text, no difference at all. Sometimes they have slight, very slight differences. Sometimes they have more relevant differences. Okay, the same text of law, we can find it in a version in the Theodosian Code and in a pretty different one in the Justinian Code. But once again, don't worry, I will upload photographs so you can understand it. But as far as I've explained until now, is that pretty clear? Okay, sounds good. Does it sound? Okay. Okay, it was also, of course, no, you're right. Of course, so the Justinian, I didn't explain that. The Justinian Code, it was divided into 12 books. Therefore, it was shorter than the Theodosian one. We can also see today when in the modern edition, we can tell that the Theodosian one was huger than the Theodosian, the Justinian one, sorry. So just 12 books, not 16. And all the books are divided into titles. I will just tell you a difference. The church law in the Theodosian Code is contained at the end of the code, in the 16th books. Okay? On the contrary, in the Justinian Code, it is contained at the beginning of the code, in the first book, not in the first titles. The first title are devoted to the sources of law, and the magistrates. But since I guess the 14 or 15 titles, it started the church law. On the contrary, on the Theodosian Code, you find it at the end. This was made by Justinian once again to underline the importance of religion, of the Christian religion. Say, okay, I will begin, let's say the code of law, we will see why it's the code of law, with the church law, to make citizenship understand that this is the most important one, okay? Of course, you can ask me, and inside each title, which is the order, which is the structure, once again, is the chronological one. Like the three previous one, is the chronological, since from the most ancient to the most recent one. Of course, you can ask me, how did they count years in the Roman Empire? With the name of the consul. There were two magistrates. I will tell you something about tomorrow or next week, the two consuls, and these two consuls gave the name of the year. It was not a name since the birth of Christ. This was made like 100 years after, okay? At this period, still it was counted from the consuls. Of course, you can tell me, how did they get knowledge about the order, the chronological succession of the consul? Once again, because they were kept lists of the consulship. And still we have it. We have it in Rome and near Rome. We have, let's say, stones. And in these stones, you can read all the name of the consuls. Okay, just like until Augustus, like until 15 after Christ. So they kept a knowledge of it. Because of course it was very important to keep an exact knowledge on the chronological order, okay? I will just finish right now. Okay, this is the Justinian Code. Okay, about the Roman, one last thing, sorry, was just one last thing. It was made another edition, it was enacted another edition of this code in 534. 3534, okay? A second edition who abolished this first one and was the only one in force, okay? Everything clear, more or less? Okay. Any doubts? Okay, yes. 534. 534, the second code, 534, abolish the previous one. Okay? So tomorrow we will begin with the jurisprudence. Okay? Thank you. See you tomorrow at 5:50. Thank you. Okay. No problem.